welcome to the featured artist interview of the week. I am founder of Indie Music Plus, Jojo Key, sitting here with Mr. Alan. How do you say your last name, by the way? The name that you go by. What is it?
Chapell.
Chapell, sweet.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, because that's what I've been doing, but I wasn't really sure, so.
No, thanks. Yeah, Chapell.
Cool, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Chapell or, something even fancier than that.
No, Chapell sounds nice, though. Maybe we run with that.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Change it just because of me. So Chapell is from New York City. He is a songwriter, vocalist. I'm not sure if you play any instruments. It looks like in your pictures you mainly do the singing and the songwriting.
Yeah, I mean, I focus mostly on just on writing songs and singing. I grew up playing trumpet and piano, but I'll play the piano or the ukulele to write. But really, other than having them as a writing tool, I'd rather have like people who know what they're doing.
Sure.
I'm fortunate that I've played with a lot of really talented people, and they're sort of at a certain caliber that frankly I'm not, and that's okay because I've got them to play the stuff, so I can bang out the chords and I can write the music, but I'd much rather be doing that. Why would I play when I got a guy like Tom Mendel or Sean O'Neill who can just absolutely kill it on the keys?
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's kind of like, I'm kind of the other way. Like, I'm a musician, but I don't consider myself like a necessarily songwriter, but I love taking other people's songs and, writing them with them or whatever, or playing them with them, So it's kind of cool that you have that angle.
I've had a lot of fun with other singers where they'll kind of bring me what they're working on and they want somebody to sing some harmonies or something like that. And I can see where you're coming from because that's a lot of fun. I wish I had more time to do that, to be honest with you. But,
sure.
They're just only so many hours in the day, man.
I hear you. So why don't you give us a little background on yourself? Just give us, a couple minutes, just a general spiel that you give somebody when somebody's like, "Hey, Chapell, tell me about yourself."
Yeah, so I grew up on the mean streets of Stamford, Connecticut, and started recording my first EP at 14. And I was fortunate enough, I had a guy named Jimmy Einer, who was a pretty well-known producer. I think these days he's best known for the Dirty Dancing series, but Jimmy did just about produce damn near everybody, and I think ran Sony or one of the labels for a while. But he was just a top flight. I played in a band with his son, and recorded that EP at 15 or 16, and then went off to college and joined a band called All the Voices, and we got some notoriety, at least in kind of in and around Connecticut and New York, and ended up meeting Chris and Tina from the Talking Heads, Tina Weymouth and Chris Franz, awesome. And they became fans of the band, and they would come see us play. And it's funny that you fast forward 20 years, and when I reached out to Chris and said, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody to help produce my current thing," he turned me on to Jerry Harrison out west, and Jerry has been just an absolutely wonderful partner in all of this stuff, man. The guy is just whip smart and a good guy, and it's just so cerebral in his approach to music.
That's awesome. So,
I was trying to make it as a touring musician probably until the mid '90s, but what happened is I'm in the late '80s, early '90s in this sort of as a keyboard player in this band in Connecticut, and all of a sudden this like big storm came out of Seattle, and suddenly in New York there was no work for a keyboard player for like 10 years. Nobody was there was Ben Folds,
yeah,
and that was it, and there just wasn't any work. And so I ended up moving to India. I joined a band in Mumbai. And it's long ago now that they are actually calling it Bombay back then. But I joined a band in Mumbai, and we were trying to do an East-West, fusion thing, and lived out there for a while. And unfortunately, that didn't entirely work out. But came back from there. Ended up hanging in Connecticut for like 2 weeks, and realized that, holy smoke, man, I got to get myself to New York. It's been home for the last 20 years. And
Nice.
I've been
Dude, that's
fortunate
awesome.
to
Sure.
been able to live around the West Village for most of the last
Awesome.
20
So
years.
let's listen to one of your tunes then. So I always give the artist the choice of what you want us to hear, So what would you like? I'm just playing off your Spotify.
Well, let's try Giving Her More.
A diamond in the sky, a secret or a lie. I'll tell you more, I'll tell you more, I'll tell you more. Life I wanna say, with what I had I gave. You needed more, you needed more, you needed more. You blame my ignorance in unimagined ways. I claim my innocence just for today. I wanna give, I wanna learn, I wanna listen to your stories. I wanna see your beautiful faces. I wanna revel in your glory. I wanna be someone you talk to. I wanna strangle all your demons. I wanna give, I wanna laugh, I wanna hear you sing your heart out. A young one led astray. I like to lead the way. I'll tell you more. I'll tell
I gotta tell you, man, Giving Her More. That's probably one of my favorite tunes of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I just the Major 7 is always my favorite. So that kind of hits home with me. So
Yeah, I fell in love with the Major 7th from Johnny Marr. Although Johnny was, he's the 7, the 9, the 16. Johnny's an absolutely amazing player.
yeah, that's what struck me about that song right away when I heard it. I think it was one of the first ones I listened to of yours, and I was just like, oh yeah, and your music just emits happiness.
Well, thanks. That song was really supposed to be a throw-in on the album, and we needed to do a little massaging to it. But once we got it into a nice place, I feel like it really shines, and which for me is really wonderful because I wrote this about my daughter when she was 11 or 12, and she was really, really upset, and I just remember I was going to pick her up, and I was down in the atrium by the World Trade Center, and just sort of sitting there writing kind of cathartically all the ways that I wanted to like be helpful and a lover, and it's nice because I kind of feel like we were able to get some of that across.
Yeah, definitely. It's great too, man. My wife is pretty picky about the music, so like I'll be listening to whatever, and most of the time I listen to a lot of metal. She hates that, but but I was playing your music just a little bit ago because I was just refreshing my memory on your music and stuff, and she was like, wow, I love that, and I was like, yeah, me too, it's great.
Well, thank you, and please tell your wife thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mercury Lounge, you have your CD release party. Is that basically what this is, or? Yeah,
we wanted to do something to celebrate the release of the CD, and so it's going to be a fantastic event. I've got some friends, the Ryan brothers. They go under Mad Larry, but they're probably best known as the Bogmen, and they're going to be opening up for us. And we've got a little bit of a connection because I don't know if you know this, but years ago Jerry Harrison produced the Bogmen, and I met those guys a couple of years ago because Jerry and I and David were going to see Jerry's son play at Mercury Lounge. So it's kind of a nice little connecting of the dots.
Yeah, and that's I mentioned to you in the email about Mercury Lounge how I played there a long time ago too.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, brings back good memories of my touring days, and that whole excitement of like, because we actually were doing label showcases there. It was like, oh, we're gonna get signed. Oh, who's out there? All this stuff. So I have really good memories of that place. Really scary memories too.
Yeah.
So yeah, have you played there before? I mean, have you played there before? Or
Yeah, a bunch of times.
kind of a staple,
I really
right?
like the room.
It's kind of like a staple around that area, isn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah, it's a nice, good, put 100 or so people in a room type of a place, and I'm really lucky because my band is pretty fantastic. I mean, Anne Klein, you're just not going to find a better guitar player in New York than her. Lorenza Ponce is playing with everybody from Bon Jovi to a whole host of other people. She did a TV thing with Adele. I mean, these are really, really talented people.
yeah.
And it's wonderful to be able to be associated with them and to kind of get them to, to be playing my music, man. It's absolutely the best.
Hell yeah, definitely. And I mean, you can just tell, like, because I mean, I listen to a lot of indie music, and I try to listen to, like, even if it's not a great recording, I really try to listen to it, and think about, is this good or not, and it's like, man, your music just slapped me across the face. And I was like, holy shit, I want to, I really want to, feature this guy, and like, just great stuff, man. I just love it.
Oh,
so
thanks.
Let's move on to another tune. So what do you want to listen to next?
Well, let's do A Change Is Coming.
From the village, 'cause all this time it felt like I'd been here before. A simple life in a place time had forgotten. Spending our whole lives here is what we planned to do. But something's going down, down, down in this old rusted town. Something's going down, down, down. It's going down. Look around you. I live in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, New York, juxtaposed between the young and old. In the shadows of the factories, the rain falls hard on the place this used to be. I felt love, now I feel pain. I won't be this rainy day no more. Something's going down, down, down in this old busted town. Money's turned things upside down, so I'm getting out of Brooklyn.
And that's The Change by Chapell. So tell us about that tune, man.
Yeah, so 7 or 8 years ago, I moved to Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and I had sort of mixed emotions about it because the music scene that was coming out of there was really one of the coolest things that I've seen happening. There was just so much music, and there still is, and it's absolutely wonderful. But I didn't feel like I fit in over there in the same way that I fit in over here in the village. And some of it is just I never quite mixed in with the hipster crowd. And you see all this construction and all these big buildings and sort of cutting at the neighborhood. And I don't want to go into like another white dude lamenting the perils of gentrification, but it did sort of occur to me that the neighborhood was being changed dramatically, and I didn't want to be the cause of that change. And so I got out.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So one thing I really like about your music is your voice. I mean, it sounds like your technique is like impeccable. I mean, you like have that just like, it just,
Well,
some people have struggle getting it out, but yours is like, just, it's right there, man.
well, thanks.
Have you had like formal training, or is it just natural talent?
No, I worked with a guy, Don Lawrence, who's just really the best. I'd worked with other people, but Don is just the best. And we worked pretty hard on trying to get the right thing for this album. And it's almost
Cool.
like you spend your whole life learning how to sing conversationally. And but I think we in a couple of places we hit it there.
Yeah, it was good, man. I mean, it's the one thing that sticks out to me is, I mean, you hit all the right notes, and it's not even like, I mean, it's like the execution is just flawless to me. My wife's a vocalist. She's a classical vocalist, and she tells me everything that everybody does wrong, basically, including myself. And so it's like when I listen to your music, it was just, and that's I think why she liked it so much is the vocals. The vocals really just pierce through the music, and it's they sit right where they need to be over the music, in my opinion. You know.
Wow. Well, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah. Well, that's me.
We worked pretty hard on it, and it's good to get to the place where we were happy with it.
Yeah, definitely, I can tell. Cool. So let's wrap this up with one more tune, then. All right.
Let's try "Heroes."
Heroes by Chapell on the featured artist interview for Indie Music Plus. Okay, so I gotta admit something. The tune that I was telling you about before, where I like the major 7 chords, that's the tune I was talking about. I just got it mixed up.
Yeah.
I love that one, dude. That's great. So I was looking at the name of your album, and it's called The Redhead Allegations. What's that all about?
Redhead's Allegations. Yeah, there's a song called The High Line, where it talks about how I got to the West Village as a young man and spent my weekends in seclusion from the redhead's allegations, an urban fiasco coming in waves. And we just really liked the phrase so much, and it just sort of made sense for the to put it as the title of the album.
Cool, but there's no...
By the way, the redhead is not too happy about it.
I was going to say, was there any... that was my next question. So there's no particular redhead, but I guess you...
There's a redhead.
There is a redhead. I love listening to metal and stuff, but I'm a classically trained piano player, and when I write music and play music, I really love funk and R&B, and that little horn breakdown in your last tune really made it for me. I like that a lot, man. That's cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, I had some talented cats from out in the West Coast, Mark Baum and Rich Armstrong and a couple of other guys. Nice. It's so much fun when you got people who you can put together a chart and they can just nail it.
Yeah.
And then they don't just nail it, but then we start talking about making it better. It's just fantastic.
Yep, that's when you're working. That's the type of musicians you need to work at when you're at the level that you are. You can't walk in and be like, okay, can you play this? Or it's like, no, you gotta.
Yeah, I've sort of tried to stay away from the idea of I don't want to work on your part with you. I just want you to come in and nail it, because then you can make it better.
Exactly.
And then you can build a vibe, and so because there's only so many hours in the day, you got to play people what we're doing.
Thank you very much for hanging out with me, man. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and then you'll see. We're just gonna keep promoting you. The featured artist promotions go for about 6 months, so that's just all.
Thank you so much.
That's just all from us, and we're really just we're promoting you and our website and all that stuff. But we try to pick the highest quality acts that we work with. to be the featured artist. So that happens to be you this week. So
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
you bet, man. My pleasure. So thank you everybody for hanging out, all the replay viewers, all the live viewers, all the viewers on YouTube and the website. Catch us every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time for the featured artist interview, and also Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time for our live podcast recordings. And then shortly after that, we have a musicians roundtable where we talk about indie musicians' struggles and topics and all kinds of things indie musicians. So thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.
All right.